before we start with the video, here's some funny devs as a hook. Hopefully that makes you stick around for the whole video. Take that, retention rate.
Welcome to the Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, a physics sandbox that uses different eras, cultures, and even fantasy as inspiration for some wobbly warfare and comedic combat. Even farmers are a faction theme. Join as we review the funny, yet at times surprisingly strategic gameplay and ridiculous level of unit customization in this Cheapness affordable gaming review of Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. You place whatever units you want to and are allowed to, as long as you have the budget, press play, and see the chaos unfold. The units move automatically while you control the camera only, to focus on whatever part of the battle seems the most entertaining. You can even pause in slow-mo. Sometimes you may even just zoom in on the soldiers marching, because they kind of move like the puppets from Team America. And speaking of puppets, why don't you like and subscribe? It may turn me into a real boy. But no pressure though, I'm grateful you've even watched. As into that, it's not historically accurate, and I highly doubt that it could be that balanced. I mean, I think I saw some signs at them attempting balance, but when it comes to something like this, with its large roster of units of different sizes, with its physics-based movement, where they sometimes struggle to walk without stumbling, weapons from across the ages, so you could have sword versus gun, even magic, I believe trying to balance this would be a losing battle, and actually would make the game less fun. Interesting. Do cannons load faster than muskets? I assumed the opposite, but it's possible, I suppose. Although it does call into question why bother using all those rows of rifles. Some of the laughs do come from the unpredictability. And to add to the ridiculous, you can press a button to possess one of the units and control them, embodying the wobble. Because of that, it can be frustrating, but it is fun. You can control a weak grunt that will be annihilated immediately, or one of the more tanky units that swings an apparently blunt sword. But while the main purpose of the sandbox probably is laughter, it also has a campaign that can require some thought. Don't get me wrong, sometimes, in fact a lot of times, might make right. Sometimes the very first attempt. I mean, for me it was, when in doubt, use cannons. But when that fails, experimentation with different unit types and combinations takes over. Let's see if this works. And because of the lightheartedness of this game, that doesn't feel like cheating. Even if you're just replacing units on the fly, not really thinking it through. Okay, cool, that did work. It doesn't feel like you're playing the game inappropriately or wrong. And for a lot of missions, different eras are involved, so you can theoretically have some civilizations like pair-ups, like sword versus musket, musket versus tank, or tank versus insert weird magic enemy here. There's tons of them. And only some of the campaigns restrict what you can use. So not only can you pick any unit from any era, you can even use custom units you made yourself, meaning you can create a cheap, all-powerful immortal if you want to go against the gaming version of the honor system. Okay, to me, this feels like cheating. But spamming siege engines won't always work. The game does encourage tactical thinking. It even forces it, because sometimes you must truly consider the movement mechanics, capabilities, and AI of the opposing units to defeat them under level budget. For instance, these units jump forward, so leave some cheap fodder as bait. Leave them out in the open and destroy them with shuriken. They can't help but follow. For weak crowds, you need crowd control. For arrows, you need meat shields. Shields meet bombs. Powerful artillery meet the possessed jouster. And sometimes the map layout is important too, because we're not talking about fancy AI here. Suicide is common, and sometimes it will be down to luck, because the same units in the same combination won't necessarily play out towards the same result every time, even if you simply redo the setup you just had. So the unexpected isn't just funny, sometimes it will help you out, or hinder you, such as a mammoth carcass that acts as cover, or a pile of dead bodies being hard to traverse. A narrow corridor may cause a stuck ballista.
Thanks for watching so far. Please stick around for about 18 seconds. It's intro time.
More opportunities for fun facepalming during same-screen multiplayer. A mode that's surprisingly fun for something that's this low input. It's practically relaxation software when you don't possess the units. Plus there's a surprising bit of extra gameplay on offer. Hidden object gameplay, searching for secret items on the various maps. When you hover over them, you unlock a unit with a broad range of possible factions and abilities, which is a rewarding reward. You can even unlock campaigns via the secrets. And on top of that, throw in some creativity and expression, as the custom unit creator I mentioned robbed a great deal of hours from me, because I tried to make a reasonably realistic SWAT team versus criminal fact for multiplayer use. I actually know firsthand how hard it is to try and balance these units, literally. There's a large selection of aesthetic items, abilities and weapons to kit them out. Look here, I tried to make Agent 47, plus you can choose their voices and stats too. It gives you a great deal of control. I usually don't focus on a creative element of a game for this much time, but you know, if the SWAT versus criminals local multiplayer worked out, it would have been great. The only ways in which it falls short is firstly, as mentioned with the balance gag, some of the incredibly powerful items and their stats are hard to figure. How do you make it reasonable and not just overpowered? And how do you make the unit strong enough to use it while at the same time doing something you can remotely describe as aiming? And secondly, comparatively, humanoid stuff is easy, but stuff you can ride and siege engines takes a bit of effort and adjusting files to enable, and I just wasn't willing to do that. Without that, you can only ride humanoids and create the chicken fighter. But rather pleasantly, recently they've added the feature to create your own maps too. Fortunately, this came out after I was kinda done with the game, so I didn't sink yet more hours into it. So 3 disparate gameplay focuses coming together to create a unique experience that's fun. It was stimulating enough for me to play most campaigns without a story or justification, just carnage and finding hidden secret units. As you progress, going up against new units and occasionally playing on different arenas, but eventually you'll get most, if not all of the secrets, and we'll be doing the same things just on different battles. So I wouldn't be surprised if you don't complete it either, or play less than I did. I was really quite into it, and musically the game is pretty good, an appropriate piece of battle music for every theme. But arguably, generally you will not notice it, or it will make this feel serious. This should not feel serious. Why not? Maybe this purposeful tone is helping me stick around. Good battle tracks and relaxing placing music. Makes the game feel like less of a joke. It does feel right, but I admit, some jokier, light-hearted music probably would not have been out of place. I mean, the arenas look beautiful, fanciful, colorful, and even a bit fairy tale at times, but not enough to truly correspond to your wobbly warriors and their googly eyes. The physics are funny enough on their own to speak for the entire game. The game is extremely detailed too. Each unit functions independently, and even musket balls can be seen, and cannonballs are surprisingly brittle. They're not cohesive battalions, like in a Total War game, and that means even on good PC setups, once you place enough units, it will start to lag. And some areas are unrefined where you don't expect people to nose about. Some pieces of clothing poke through one another, and the most dramatically terrained arenas are in the plain simulation group. It would have been nice if arenas like this were more cliffy, natural, etc. I played about 24 hours, but let's subtract the 9 hours I spent in customization, because I really got into it, and not everyone will play it for that reason. So 15 hours, to complete a great deal of the campaigns. And the game is cheap on Steam, 199 Rand full price, 67 Rand 66 cents on sale. That's 4 Rand 52 cents per hour of gameplay, which is okay, but some of you will play more, like I did, if not for the customization, for the multiplayer. And it is kind of a big download size, as it takes up 4.49 gigabytes on the hard drive, and I didn't even try it on the Warhorse. I mean, come on, it lags on my gaming PC when there are too many units on it. Okay, well, I did try it. With very low res and few units, it was very grainy. I dared going higher and it crashed. So in this case, the Warhorse did die in combat. Absolute punishment. But the game does have same-screen multiplayer, a kind of strange versus mode where you take turns to place units and then press play. You can use the possession mechanic, but it gets rather finicky when you play 2-player. And stereotypically, I'd argue the game is kid-friendly. At worst, you may find some of the voices offensive. The game has great visuals, with very pretty diorama arenas, colorful and slightly cartoony, lush, but at times it does lack refinement in the areas where you're not expected to look. But that may be fair enough, in spite of the fact that you can look everywhere so easily in this game. And And the wobbly units are lovely, so much detail, can even see a musket ball. I mean, come on, that's incredible. But some of the clothing can poke through other elements. The game has nice music that fits with the themes. It does make it feel a bit more serious though, and the funny voices are nice, they remind me of Hidden Folks. The game has great customization tools. If creating non-humanoids is difficult, as is finding balance, the game has great physics and combat simulation. Quite funny, sometimes it's fun and easy, and other times forcing you to think in a kind of strategic manner, and a different kind of strategy than usual. It has good hidden object gameplay, and being rewarded in units and campaigns is quite rewarding. A proper reward. This game is a unique combo of gameplay focuses. It can be quite funny, hilarious even in multiplayer. On the maybe side, no story, has no tutorials, so I had to look up how to unlock the new units with the hidden object gameplay. And as said, some of the customization stuff I had to experiment to figure it out. And the physics-based humor is kind of the point of the game, but the music and more challenging levels can make it feel a bit more serious. And the gameplay is inherently indirect, even sometimes when you possess units, because of how slow some of them move, or how hard it is to connect attacks. And on the con side, maybe the game does have some unrefinements. I'm not sure if it has a pop cap, and if it doesn't, that means it will just let you place that many units as to cause dangerous amounts of lag. And using the camera can be a bit finicky because you can't place it in the area you want, then play start. I believe it zooms out, then you have to quickly pause before too much action takes place, and that kind of explains the frustration if you're playing 2-player and both want to possess at the same time, but can't be on the units you want when the game starts. Come on, play it and celebrate prematurely. Hey guys, why are you hugging? I'm still alive. I can't move, but I'm still conscious. And me, then continue with your tornado hug.